live.
We're live. Hi, everyone, and welcome to the Nerdy Up North podcast. It's a nerdy podcast and it's hosted by Northern Nerds. I am one of your hosts, Sam.
And I am the king of sweat that is just dripping from me. Living
Sweaty eyeballs.
living the COVID dream as we speak. Yes, we are all social distancing and not in the same rooms, doing this over Zoom, so I can't infect the world. But yes, hi nerds. So we are joined tonight by two fabulous guests. The beautiful, I can't even get the words out, fuck it. The pain in the arse he is, Graeme. Let's be honest.
I thought you were going to go with egg-tastic there.
No.
You know,
I will.
the egg-tastic Graeme.
The Eggman. So get that song played from Cuckoo. Get it. And the sorcerer herself, the D&D maestro, that is Sarah.
Maestro.
Wow.
Yes. And just to say as well, I know he's probably not watching live, but if he's watching like tomorrow, I hope you had a nice birthday yesterday, Jake. I know, like I say, we were meant to have nerdy plans, but with me having COVID, I had to spoil it. So I am sorry, but I hope you did have a nice day. And I did catch a bit of your stream last night. And for the record, Nat kicked your ass. That's all I'm saying on that.
He seemed to be having fun on the stream, at least.
He did, yes. But yes, and we seem to have a lot of people in the chat. We've got Scottish Geek Guy, howdy, nice seeing you. We've got Lee, who's said picture in the Discord today. Honestly, if I had a bit more time and didn't feel the shit, you would be getting naked pictures of Lee on this podcast, because he has been posting topless pictures on the Discord, and if that isn't an advertisement for the Discord, I don't know what else would be.
That slag. Anyway, I'm just going to go and check the Discord.
So yes, and
straight in there.
We've got
nothing straight about it.
Yes, we've got the lovely Donna in the chat. We've got Beth. We've got Laura. We've got Chris. And I don't know why Chris keeps sticking around. All I do is abuse him. Maybe he's one of those kinky bitches that just loves getting like shit.
Insult me more, Daddy Paul.
How to make me feel less of a man. Well, you're only half a human anyway, so it's fine. So yes. So before we get started, Sammy, have you got a few bits you want to do for us tonight? That's not
before I say a certain phrase. Let's get the disclaimer out the way.
I'll do the disclaimer first, so it's out the way with before Graeme starts talking.
Mm-hmm.
So, everything discussed in today's episode is our opinions and our opinions alone. If you'd like to discuss anything from today's episode, please come and join us in the Facebook group, the Discord page, or the comment section, where we can have an open discussion. What we won't have, though, is anyone coming for us and telling us our opinions are wrong. We can all agree to disagree in fandom. So let's keep it fun, keep it kind, and keep the toxic behaviour out of nerdism.
Very well said. And just for the record tonight...
The Tories.
Disclaimer's done!
There we go. Hey! We got the ordering.
I thought I was going to get past that part, but yes. And just for the eagle-eyed watching tonight as well, it's not Sammy who's wearing no pants tonight. I am actually wearing pantsless because I am too fucking hot to wear any clothes. You're lucky I've got a fucking top on. Just saying that out loud.
But what's even funnier is that his cat is causing chaos in his bedroom, so he may have to move around.
Yes, she's got the new kitten, and the kitten seems to think Star Wars toys are toys. They're not to be played with. But yes. So Sammy, do you want to do what you've been watching yet, or how you've been? You haven't done that for a while.
We haven't, have we? Because the last one we had quite a few people on.
It was a very booby-tastic episode, that one.
Dude, we did a Nicolas Cage one before that.
Yes.
After that.
You can't get past the boobs, it's fine.
Yes. I'll stay there.
If they're that big, they're going to be difficult to get past.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was totally out my fucking element in that episode, I'm not going to lie. I was like, oh. Right. How you's been and what you's been watching? What you been watching? Come on.
Yeah.
Well, I've been watching something very interesting. So I started a new show yesterday.
This is why you wanted us to ask.
Oh, 100%. Everyone needs to watch this show, because honestly, because it's on Apple TV, so no fucker's going to watch it. But it just means it won't get cancelled, because Apple don't cancel shit. Monarch, Legacy of Monsters. I thought it was going to be okay, But the first episode, it just grips you. It's like, and it's not a monster TV show. It's all about the characters, and it's all about different time zone, like different parts in time. So
Mhm.
it goes back, and it's got Wyatt Russell playing a character, and he's showing how he's involved. And it goes to like the modern day, and it's got Kurt Russell playing that character in the modern day,
Right. I've
and
heard this.
it's so well done. And that's not a spoiler; it tells you in the like intro,
Oh,
say as
there's
it's
so
coming
many
through.
interviews with the two of them out at the moment talking about what it's like, father and son playing
Mhm.
the same character. So that's not spoiling now.
No, but the first episode's got cross-hatched like clips and videos from the previous Godzilla movies. So, like King of Monsters and like say when Godzilla destroys San Francisco, um, like all that's like intermingled into this story. And honestly, it's like people are saying, "Oh, it's boring because it's not got much monsters in." It is pure character driven, and I am like me and Nick watched it yesterday. There's 2 episodes out. Nick actually got physically angry with me because there wasn't more episodes. She was like, "Why have you let me watch this now when there's not more to watch?" I was like,
Hang on, Nick. I'll
Get
just
in,
make
Nick.
some more. You know.
It's like, I'll write Apple to ask them to release things. I've tried, but they won't give me the screeners yet. But hopefully, if they watch
I
this,
love it.
but yeah, honestly, one of the
love
best
it.
things I've watched in a while. Like it's completely gripping.
Awesome.
That's great.
Have you watched anything?
I've been watching like loads of Star Trek because obviously we do trekking up.
I was going to say
we
never.
watch we have, like the episode of the week, and then I just find myself watching all the episodes around it. And, you know, like sort of watching the episode, and then be like, "We'll watch one more," and then it's 3 a.m. in the morning, and I'm like, "I should probably go to bed." But bizarrely, what I've been watching lately is loads of stuff on YouTube. I'm watching loads of sort of playthroughs and analysis videos of like sort of 90s DOS games and stuff, which is like crazy retro, but like you forget how many video games have been released over the years, and you just kind of go, whoa. And some of them are these crazy hidden gems, and some of them where you're like, this is absolute garbage, and it's hilarious hearing about it. But yeah, it's like loads of them, like these sort of 1-hour videos talking about these things. There's a great YouTuber called Grimbeard who does them, but in the silliest way possible. In like
and watches him.
He is so good. He is.
They're like really. They're about like
I
an
assume
hour-long
he's
video.
I don't know if he's they or not, but it's they are just absolutely really, really, really good grasp of comedy, but then also giving this wonderful overview of all these like classic games. It's good.
Yes, Ant watches him. I'm sure he's put one on for us before where I'm literally like, okay, I need to watch more of this guy. He is so funny, but I'm learning stuff at the same time.
Well, yeah,
who knew? Who knew comedy could do that?
It's just really dumb. And now you're seeing loads of channels coming up. Like there's another one called Dungeon Chill where he just outright says, yes, I'm trying to copy Grimbeard because I love his videos so much. And it's so weird that it's now spawning other channels and like copycat kind of things. He's also got music out, bizarrely, which is basically on Spotify and stuff, which is really good, actually. Like, it's like, oh, this is crazy. But, you know. Anyway, yeah, there we go.
Cool.
I'm quite good. I'm called Paul. That's because having a name called Grimbeard, that's like quite impressive.
Well, that's it. I wonder what his real name is. If his parents were like, "You shall be Grimbeard," you know. That's it.
Instead, we'll call you Stephen.
It's like, you know, we will call this one Stephen. We will call this one Grimbeard. You know.
I love this offering of this child.
I don't know why we're doing this with the child. We're like,
you can tell we're not parents. That's not how you hold them.
To be fair, yesterday I went to I literally just like whenever anyone tries to hand me a baby, I'm just like, I will drop it.
Sarah, take notes.
Noted.
It's moving. But,
love it.
It was quite funny. I went to go and see the Sisters of Mercy playing live in Newcastle yesterday, which is amazing. Full on good goth weekend. And afterwards, we were feeling so grim and sort of goth that a mate took a picture of me outside the big Christmas tree they have at Central Station, and it's literally just me being like. And I'm just like, that needs to be my Christmas cards for the year, right there.
I want one.
But Sarah, like say, now we're talking about babies. Like say, with you having twins,
Baby.
how much do we have to pay you to name one of your child's Grimbeard? Or how many stickers can we give you to get the name?
Yeah. Maybe
She
vile
looks like she's
mustache.
contemplating
Maybe.
it now. Mind.
Yeah, that's him.
I mean, considering my height, I think Grimbeard is a good name for a dwarf.
Mhm.
So considering my height, it might be an option.
Right.
Wow. Have you been watching anything interesting, Sarah?
I watched a couple more episodes of Enterprise.
Mhm.
I'm about halfway
Appeasing
through.
to the masses there.
Yeah.
Oh.
I'm about halfway through season 2 now. Aside from that, I've watched one or two more serial killer documentaries, true crime stuff.
There's a few coming on Netflix at the minute, isn't there?
There was a couple of new ones, yeah, so I kind of watched them. And
I've lost off with them. I really have. It's the same format, the same sit down interviewee style. Oh, let's make it all drama. Yeah.
I don't.
I think after a point, you've memorized it all. You're just like, I know everything about drama. Yeah, John Wayne Gacy.
Oh, I don't watch those ones. I don't watch the big name ones.
Just
You
the mini
just know
ones.
too much. You just
they're too oversaturated, them ones.
Well, it's also the fact of like, the oversaturated ones, you just like, they're not actually as bad as some of the lesser known ones, where you had lesser known people where like you killed 28 people. What the fuck? Like, like, why do we not know who you are?
Well, it's the ones that you don't know. It's always to be worried about, like how many people Donna's actually killed. That's the thing you've got to think about, because she's a fucking murderer.
I keep forgetting Patrick Swayze.
Yep, and Prince Charles.
Yes.
That's going to happen.
Philip. It was Prince Philip. No, it was Prince Philip.
Well, she's predicted Charles is going to go in the next year or so, I think.
Wow, Donna. If it happens, mind.
To be fair, so did anyone who watched the
talk.
coronation. I mean, sausage fingers.
Oh, don't, because I cannot not see that now. Jake is in the chat. Hi, Jake.
Hi,
Happy
Jake.
birthday for yesterday.
Yes.
Well, speaking of sausage fingers, I've actually been watching The Crown.
All right.
That was such a good segue.
Yeah.
So, are they going to put bits into the latest season of The Crown that make me look at the TV and go, I'm getting the word?
Having a certain character in a Pizza Express.
Yeah,
that would be interesting. But what they've done is,
going to tackle it? They just be like, here's our new king, who's also really good friends with.
They've split the series into 2 parts, which has annoyed the shit out of us to start with.
Yeah.
What's annoyed us even more is that it's normally a 10-episode series. So you'd think 5 and 5. No. They've gone 4. So all I got on Saturday when I settled down to watch The Crown, thinking, I'm in for like good 4 episodes. 4. I was fuming. I rang Anth at work.
You know what it is? Because I think these days, us people, and
we are so greedy.
Exactly. Like, say, people don't have patience anymore.
No.
Nicole, wait for a show to come out week by week now. But yeah, but yes,
it's really true though. Like, we had it when me and Goodwill were reviewing Star Trek Series 3 of Picard. The staggering of it helped. I think it gave us a week to kind of talk about stuff and like have a week of speculating and going, And I was like, I like this better, rather than like when Stranger Things came out and everyone I didn't get to watch it because I was at work, but like literally 2 p.m. everyone's like, I just finished it. And I'm like, it just came out.
We've done it. We did it on a Stranger. We literally were like 3 episodes in and we were like, we'll call it a day, and then this ending happened. Like, no, gotta keep going. We did it in 9 hours. We fucking did it. But yeah, we're so greedy right now.
Yes.
I remember having the Umbrella Academy.
Yeah, I had a full-on rant when everyone was kicking off over a Game of Thrones finale, and I'm like, well, it's a cliffhanger. Like it's a cliffhanger, and everyone was like, no. And now I'm starting to feel like I'm doing that now, especially because I finished Gen V. Which, no spoilers, because I really want people to watch it, leaves you with a bit of a at the end. But that is like, oh my god, you can have a conversation around it. But no, I'm being really impatient and going, what the fuck happened there? What I have also been watching is a lot of Critical Role. I am
Ah.
partway through campaign 2. I've started the other week, but it is something you've got to really like invest in. You've got to really pay attention. So when you've got 3 doggies who are biting for your attention too, kind of can't get proper into it, but I am really enjoying it. Becca, I don't know if you actually listen from the Discord, actually listen to the podcast. Thank you so much for all of your help when it comes to D&D. It's been a massive help.
Bless you. Becca's lovely. She is very, very sweet.
She is the sweetest. She's just a big, great mama bear. I love her to pieces.
Wait there, you said mummy. Hi. Sorry.
She is back in the country. But yes,
don't tell him that, Sonny.
I've been thoroughly enjoying Critical Role. But that's not what we're here for today.
No, we are talking about. I would say it's a difficult one because I still think this is one of the most iconic movies that probably came out in the 90s. But I don't know if that's because of the time I watched it, the time I experienced it, because I know people who watch it now and they don't get as much. Because I know Lee watched it, he was in the chat. I know we're going to talk in a bit more detail, but it's just always because The Crow to me is a special movie, and it always surprises when people don't get how special and like the nuances in this movie. But he didn't say he didn't like it, but he kind of just said it's a goth wet dream. It has
it massively is.
That's
It is
how I described it this afternoon.
Yeah.
It is, but I think it's got so much more to it than just being a goth sweat dream. But
absolutely.
but yeah, I like. There's so many films that did come out of its time, like in the 90s. Like you talk about Jurassic Park, Scream, but I think The Crow now, like if you watch it back, it stands up as one of the most iconic movies that came out at that time for what it did. And I'll stand by that.
I 100% agree. This movie is The Craft. I can name a few others. Is like where my goth dreams started to come reality, because I was seeing visualization of, you know, this kind of image I was trying to portray myself, and I was like, oh my god, it's like right in front of me. The Crow has been an absolute special. It's special in my heart for a very long time. I generally can't tell you the first time I watched it, but I can remember the first time I read the book because I read it in the library.
I still watch The Crow every Devil's Night.
Yes, I watched it this year. I did it.
Hey!
Fire.
Did you also yell fire it up, fire it up?
Yeah.
She said that's why Horton was on fire.
It was me.
Look, thank fuck that's after the disclaimer.
Everything's all good after the disclaimer, Graeme.
Yeah,
That's why we say it straight
We can
away.
say anything.
Exactly. I've covered it.
But yes. I read the graphic novel after I watched the movie, but I didn't watch it when it first came out. I didn't even watch it on the VHS release. I think I watched it when it was released on Sky Movies, because you know when Sky Movies used to do the Saturday night premieres, and The Crow was one of them. And my parents were a little bit liberal at the time, so they weren't very bothered about watching like
at the time.
Well, like say
Are they not now?
Well, my dad doesn't like swearing. He doesn't watch the podcast because he thinks I swear too much. But he would let us watch like 18 movies, and I think that was like, say, what was it, 1994? It would have been 1996. So I'd have been around 16, 17 where it came out. So I stopped up and watched it on Sky Movies. My dad absolutely hated the movie. Like, couldn't stand the movie. He didn't get the thing. But I I think the first thing that gripped us, I think I sent a message in the chat, was the soundtrack. There's and there's not one song that stands out. Like, if you think about Lost Boys, the Lost Boys soundtrack like takes you on the journey. But this one, like, it fits so much to the heart and like the feeling and the pain in this movie as well, because it's all about pain.
Well, I would. Sorry, Pete.
I would quite happily say that this is my favorite movie soundtrack of all time.
Right.
Oh, wow.
I mean, it's kind of incredible, this film, where it's the fact of how much stuff it has in it, where we look back and we're like, that kind of came together really well. I mean, look at the soundtrack. You literally have The Cure, you have 9 Inch Nails, doing a cover of Joy Division,
Yeah.
which is like the most goth thing I've ever heard.
Oh, it is.
You know,
It's uber goth.
yeah, you have Rage Against the Machine, fucking Pantera, I think obscure ones like the Thrill Kill Cult and Jesus and
Henry
Mary Chain and
Rollins.
stuff.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Henry
that's it.
Rollins band's in there.
Yeah, and it's all
I did
these
not
things,
know that.
and it's
Yep.
used so well, and it's
Yeah.
this idea of basically, and it sort of cements it, and then obviously the cast,
Mhm.
like it just, you know, the fact is when Tony Todd isn't the main hitter in your
Exactly.
film,
Yeah.
and you're like, what is this that just gets Tony Todd and goes, we're never actually going to name your character in the movie, but you're, you know,
You're just man.
yeah, I mean,
does
what is it? Like,
things.
what's his name? Michael
Wincock.
Michael Wincock.
He doesn't get named in the film, but he's in the
No.
credits. But it is just going like
He's just called Top Dollar.
Mhm.
I have the cast in front of us. I'm not getting any fucking names wrong tonight.
yeah, but then obviously Brandon Lee, you know, obviously was a rising star at the time. You know, was more famous because of his like,
Mhm.
you know,
Heritage.
But I was going to say heritage, and then I went ancestry, and I was just like, am I being racist about like Chinese?
No.
You know,
No.
You know, when you kind of like,
Yeah.
okay. But and Ernie Hudson, like, and
Mhm.
I actually agree with Lee in the chat. I think Ernie Hudson kind of steals the show in a lot of
Massively.
ways. He is so good in this, like to the point where I was joking about like how I would make a video game of this film and how I do it, and you would literally give Ernie Hudson's character their whole scenario. You would literally have them as a playable character because they're so important to the film that is essentially about Brandon Lee's character, and you're like, only someone as good as Ernie Hudson can do that.
Because
I don't even think of him as Winston. I'm not looking at it like I'm not normally when I look at characters like people who've played like characters from like something I thoroughly love. I'm thinking like Bill Murray, for example. If I'm watching a Bill Murray film, I'll always go, "Oh my god, it's Pete Venkman." I didn't do that. I haven't watched The Crow in a long time until I watched it on Devil's Night.
Yeah.
And which, if you don't know, it's the night before Halloween. But yeah, I was watching it and I was like, shit, I totally forgot he was in it, and two, forgot how fucking good he is. Like, he's amazing.
And I
love that. I love the fact that this film manages to balance seriousness with sort of like posery, but like blended in quite well.
Yeah.
Like it literally has a scene where he's playing electric guitar on top of a building, being as edgy as fuck. And it works. It doesn't feel like a forced thing like you would get in a lot of stuff. It just flows with the actual film, which is wonderful. And then the comedy that you get in it, like Ernie literally, Dr. Officer Albrecht, Ernie Hudson's character, literally just taking the piss out of his superior officer for the whole thing. Like literally just being like, oh, well, I don't know anything. Maybe you should do some detective work, you cunt. And just having this like, you know, this sort of attitude, and it works. Like usually you get films that are so edgy and so dark that as soon as you put comedy in, it shatters the illusion. Yet this film has Brandon Lee having comedy moments. And that's wonderful.
No, I agree totally, and like every time I watch the movie as well, I kind of get a different insight, a different viewpoint, and it's strange saying that because you can watch movies so many times and they can get dull and boring and like oversaturated. With this one, and like I watched it back yesterday, and it could have been a COVID like dream. It could be like say me just be like hyperventilating and something out, but I kind of saw it in a different way. Like because it is all about revenge and like what happened to like say Eric Draven like and Shelley, but it's almost like Eddie Hudson's character is the witness to the revenge. He's like that's his role, and that's why Eric keeps on keeping him in there to keep him thing, because he was there when the tragedy happened. He's there to witness the coming of like say the force that like was Eric, or like the spirit of the crow that was. And I've never looked at it like that point of view. I just thought it was like, oh, just there, like right place, right time. But it was almost like Eric, like now he's like prodding, like watching the back even when he's going into like see his apartment and you see him wearing his hat, and it's hilarious. Where he's like when like he's vest and box shorts, but he's still got his police hat on.
Amazing.
But
I think it's also the idea of they are both heroes and they are sort of totally opposite of each other. You've got one where we should probably have a rundown of what the plot of the film is in case people haven't actually seen it before we get into it. But it's the
there's
idea
a big fucking crow.
Yeah, it's a big fucking bird. Hey, birdie. A fucking fun boy scene. It's so good.
But, every scene with Fun Boy. Fucking
Yeah.
unreal.
But it's the idea of obviously like Officer Albrecht, where it's the fact that he is someone who has been punished for doing the right thing. Where he was a detective and he gets knocked down the ranks because he was doing the right thing and because he keeps doing the right thing. And him kind of helping save the world and helping save this scenario, this whole scenario and this city by keeping doing the right thing, even though he's been knocked down, to Eric Draven, who basically is killed and brought back to life in order for him to do the right thing. And they're both kind of, and they're both good guys, but they're coming from total different start points, I think.
Two different perspectives. Do you want to know an interesting fact? I know it's not monsters, but I have some facts.
Okay.
I've got some as well.
Not one fucking crow was used in this movie. They are all ravens.
They're all ravens.
All right. Half the raven, never more.
Maybe they're ravens that identify as crows, though.
Yes.
Is that not the reference, though, when he starts quoting Edgar Allan Poe?
Yeah.
I want that would again,
is it because crows just can't be trained or something?
Possibly.
Are they bastard? Were they asking too much? Were they like,
Potentially.
I demand all of the seed.
I did actually love the
I've said that before as well. That's kind of worrying.
I did love the Poe reference in this movie as well, and that was not my complaint, but I wouldn't have minded a few more Poe references all the way through the film. I thought that would have just been like nice little like continuation or touching. But yeah, and just as well, because as Graeme said, the plot basically that the idea is there's been this brutal, one of the most traumatic things happen to like anyone, like say the murder and rape of like say of Eric and Shelley
Webster.
Shelley Webster. That just is harrowing. And I know
the film opens up with this couple that are basically going to get married. But it opens up with a crime scene investigation of basically what happened to them, which is that couple that were going to get married on Halloween because they're goth as fuck. Basically,
do not diss a Halloween wedding.
It is goth as fuck, though. No one gets married on Halloween that isn't a massive goth. But
that's me.
Yeah, but basically they are. They're going to get married on Halloween, but then what she's done is she's put a petition in with the landlords to basically go, hey, you're trying to kick us out. We don't want that to happen. We want to stay here. And because they were going to demolish the building. So all the tenants signed a petition to basically stay there. And then it turns out that actually the landlord is a massive drug lord who rules the entire city and just does a hit on them. So basically they break in, they stab Eric and then throw him out a window, and they obviously rape and kill Shelley. And yeah, that's basically how the movie begins, which is pretty bleak.
And I know this is going to sound really strange and like a weird way of saying it as well. It was one of the more tasteful rape scenes that has been done in movies, because like I say, that could have went so wrong and brutally and done, but it was done in a way where you felt the brutality but not overdoing it at the same time. If you think of like
it's implied.
If you think about like the Hills Have Eyes scene, where like say it goes too far and it makes you feel that uncomfortable that you don't want to watch the film anymore. This one just makes you angry and you think, right, you understand where Eric's coming from, and right, like I can't wait to see how he's going to fuck up these people the way he does. And I think the filmmakers deserve a lot more credit for that as well, is because they could have either done too much or not enough, so you didn't get they kind of got the right balance there.
Yeah, they don't shy away from it. They have it where they mention that it is a rape. That's what happens. It shows it like as much as you need to see, like as in going, oh, okay, cool. And I think that's good, because I think a lot of the times we kind of get films where they're scared to touch upon it at all, but you're just getting the gravity of how horrendous what happened was in order to cause the events of the film.
Seeing it through her eyes.
Yeah.
That's the angry part, is seeing it through her eyes, because she doesn't move a fucking muscle. And I know that could just be through choice of the cameraman. Let's just stay still and have the, the actors facing forward to it. But for me, she is completely and utterly frozen. So to see it through, and I'm looking it through her eyes, I am fucking terrified and very angry. But I gotta say, the cast in this movie is like chef's kiss. There is not one bum note. Even Sarah doesn't get on me tit ends.
No,
she
used to when I was a kid, mind.
If I had to pick someone, I'd say she's the worst, but she is a child actor, and B, I think she's probably the least rounded out character, where you're just like, the entire thing, people being brought back to life by crows, okay? That is more believable than this kid on a skateboard in like Gotham City.
It is very Gotham, isn't it? Like,
Isn't it?
I have total Batman vibes from this movie. Or Turtles. I had a lot of Turtles when I was watching it back. I was like, oh, this is kind of like that gritty, grimy. Do I want to live here? Maybe I do want to live here. Like, do I?
Well, I think the main takeaway of the film, the main plot of the film, is that landlords are shitheads, which I think is something we can relate to in Britain at the minute.
Oh, absolutely. And he was the worst, though. He didn't even know what he was like. It was so blasé to him. Like it meant nothing.
Yeah.
Like that death, that building, it meant absolutely nothing. And that weird fucking relationship he has with his sister.
But that's the thing. That's how clever the movie. How clever the movie was, because you don't even realize that Top Dollar is the main bad guy till halfway through. Because all the way through you're thinking T-Bird is going to be the big bad.
Yeah.
But this is
right.
the thing.
Absolutely right.
You think it's a revenge film because Brandon Lee's character gets brought back to life on the anniversary of his death by the power of a crow. In order to exact revenge. But actually, he's basically doing good work, because what he's doing is he's saving the city. It's not just about revenge. It's not blind revenge. And it's why he can't go to rest once he completes like his mission of killing the people who he thought were responsible.
Yeah.
He doesn't get his rest. He carries on because it basically goes, no, there's more to do. You need to actually stop the real evil.
So it's more about justice than anything else.
Justice.
So it's basically turning someone's essentially petty revenge, if we look at it that way, and making it something which is basically like helping the whole city and freeing a whole fucking city, because the police weren't doing it.
No,
because Ernie was trying to do it, and he gets demoted.
Yeah.
Poor Ernie Hudson, man. That is such a slap in the face. Another interesting fact, I don't know if Sarah has this one as well, but James O'Barr hated the idea of having Brandon Lee as the main star. Absolutely, really didn't like it. The only thing he'd seen him in is his fighting films that he'd done, and I think he was doing a cop show at the time, like a very low budget cop show. And he hated it. But when he came on set, full makeup, he'd lost weight. He'd lost nearly 40 pounds to do this movie and buffed himself up. And he came on set, he went, shit, that guy's done his homework. That's my crow. That's my Eric. And instantly fell in love with him, said like he just wanted to be around him all the time. So I thought that was really interesting that he initially looked at him and went, no.
But it's quite a, say, with Brandon as well, because we've had, let's be honest, a few Crow movies that followed, and they've never lived up, or there's never really been the same type of impact of having, say, another person play the Crow. Because I think I had this discussion with Lee. It's not the Crow, it's Eric. That's the thing. Sorry, Eric.
Eric. Because it's not Eric in the second one. I love City of Angels. I'm not going to lie. City of Angels, I really enjoyed. I love Vincent Perez, so I'm living for him. His accent just gives us chills. I just fucking love him. But I am more interested in Eric. I think Eric is like the driving force of my love. I've never seen Salvation. I looked at the front cover of that and went, no.
I've seen them all, and as much as I really don't want to shit on them, they weren't as good as the first one.
I think. Sorry, Karen.
No, it's I mean, we'll probably come on to the remakes and potential remakes later on. But I think I'd be more interested if they were looking to remake one of the other movies
Yeah.
rather than the
Yeah,
first one
I-
over and over
It
again.
would be so much better if they were like,
Agree.
we're going to make a new Crow movie, not a remake, because the whole principle of
Yeah.
it, the idea of someone who, like, you know, who has been wronged being brought back to life. Because the cool thing about The Crow is it has a set of rules. It is very much like kind of a superhero film or like Trek or something where it literally goes, hey, here are the conditions that this whole, like, you know, coming back to life thing works. Here's the powers that you can have. Here's all this. It is perfectly set up to be a franchise. So the idea of remaking the first one rather than just be like, we're going to make a new one and we're not going to piss anyone off
Yeah.
and it'll still be
love
brilliant.
that.
And but that's not what they're going to do because they
No.
remade
That's not-
fucking
it's- no,
Jacob's
it's not.
Ladder. And I watched the remake of Jacob's Ladder the other day. And I'm
No.
I don't know who I write to get those hours back. I think it might be God, but
Just write to the
he's not
universe.
returning my
Write
calls.
to the universe and
Yeah.
put in a complaint.
Yeah.
Capital letters. But I love that idea though, Sarah. Like, not leave Eric alone. He's
Yeah.
done. His story's been
Yeah.
told, and it's done beautifully. Correct something else,
Yeah.
or
Yeah.
do
I mean,
something else.
I genuinely think it was a shame that the movies after weren't as great because you've got some pretty high-ranking actors in them. I mean, you've got like
Yeah.
Kirsten Dunst in one, you've got David Boreanaz, Danny Trejo, Edward Furlong, Tara Reid. You've got all of them in it.
Yeah.
What wasn't
And Jason Momoa was attached to do one of the
He
like
was
things,
attached
but
for a while.
that got dinged. And I think one of the I've forgotten his name, Pennywise. What's he called?
Sargard.
Skarsgård.
It's
Yeah.
I think
That could
Bill
work, maybe.
Bill Stars.
Well, apparently it's entered
agree.
post-production.
Yeah, it's moving forward. Is it Bill Skarsgård or is that the dad?
Oh, I can't remember now. There's that many
Ellen's the
Skarsgårds
dad.
now.
Aaron's yeah, that's right. Bill's Pennywise, that's right.
Yeah.
I've seen concept, like people obviously fan art and everything, and he does have the face to be able to sculpt into something magnificent. So I love the idea of it, but I don't want an Eric Draven story again.
Yeah. It's just going to be less. I mean, I've got to be perfectly honest, okay? Like, I think this might be a 10 out of 10 film. Like,
Right.
and I am
totally agree.
a person who only ever gives 9 out of 10 because I'm like, yeah, but it wasn't perfect. Like,
But-
when I watched this 3 times in the me and a mate watched it like just before Halloween, and then I watched it 3 times in the last week while I've been painting Warhammer. And the only criticism I have of this whole film is that the editing is very sloppy in places, and it has a lot of bits where they're a bit too choppy, or it doesn't linger on something longer. For instance, when Top Dollar dies at the end, why is it a second long? That, you know, like stuff, and you're like, that's the only criticism I have, because like
that's amazing.
In it is fantastic. Like
Yeah.
everything is telegraphed. Like everything, like, you know, where it just goes, everything that happens, there is a scene earlier on that goes, oh yeah, this thing might happen, and oh, remember you've got that thing, and oh look, let's show him he's fine. Because obviously even little things like going, where did he get shoes from? Why has he got shoes? And it literally just goes, here's a scene where the crow points out some shoes that he picks up and puts on. It's so wonderfully done, all these little things.
But you know why that works as well? Because sorry,
yeah,
I was going to say because
it's also the casting as well. Like, you will not be able to do this again.
Yeah.
Like even crazy things like I didn't write down her name, but who plays Micah, the Top Dollar's sister,
Bai Ling or something. Bai Lang?
Is it Bai Ling?
Bai Ling, yeah.
It's the fact of like I've got a crazy fact about her, but it's the fact of you couldn't redo her. She's so good. Like even
She's
stuff like
so
I like the pretty
unique.
lights and so like. But I'm gonna get here before Sammy. But did you know that she was going to be in Revenge of the Sith?
I did not know that. So
Did you
no,
not?
I did not. No.
Yeah, it was really. This is one of the facts that I had to double check before we went on because I had it wrong. Because my best mate told me years ago when we were watching The Crow in like the 2000s. That basically she was meant to be Sarge Ventress in Star Wars, which was meant to be instead of Maul. But then she did a Playboy shoot, and George Lucas was like, "No, she's not allowed to be in the film." That's wrong. That is not what I care. That's what I believe. But when I double checked it, she was meant to be playing a senator in Revenge of the Sith, and she got filmed. They did all the scenes and stuff. but then they got cut out. And and she said, "Oh, it's because I did a Playboy, like a full frontal Playboy shoot, and George Lucas didn't like it." But George Lucas is saying, "No, it's simply time. Your scenes." We couldn't just have you appear randomly for one bit, so we just got rid of you entirely.
I got so excited.
They could have cut all the Jar Jar out. I would have rather have that in than Jar Jar, just saying, but yeah.
Imagine, but that was the thing, that's what was so exciting. I was just like, oh, we could have had fucking Ventress in like
I literally, as you were saying
films,
that, I nearly launched over my table to go and get my Ventress to cuddle her. Because I was like, oh, we get a Ventress. But no.
But that's it, that's what I believed, that it was going to be Ventress instead of Maud.
I wish you still believed it.
But yeah, but that's it. But no, that's my fun little fact about her. But the other thing, that I'm going to be really weird. One thing that I researched today is that Micah's tattoo that we see on her back when she has like a shower scene, it represents it's a sparrow on a tree branch, and it's the idea of, in mythology, the difference between crows and sparrows, where they're both meant to be ferrymen of the dead, like taking souls to the afterlife, but her doing it in a very different way.
Right.
And I think there's a Bible verse about
I always
like
thought it was
God.
a lotus.
It's like God seeing through a sparrow's eyes or something. There's some kind of Bible verse about it, and it's just these little nuances about it, where she's obsessed with eyes. She's got a sparrow on her back. She's and she represents this kind of evil kind of collecting souls through like the collection of eyes and stuff. Whereas the crow is like, no, I'm the better bird, bitch, which we see at the end.
Oh, fuck you!
But the amount of little random like subtext in this film is absolutely fascinating.
But there was always one bit of thing that went round when this movie came out, and obviously the talk around Brandon Lee's death and everything like that. And it was like, oh yeah, they had so many actors come in to do parts for him. I'm going to tell you right now, they didn't. They never had one. It's all digitally done. They had, so what they did was they created a bust of his face when he was obviously alive, and it was for stuntmen, and the stuntmen were meant to use it, and apparently it was so fucking well done, that when the incident happened and they did have stuff to fill in, they had the stuntman put the mask on. People were they were fucking devastated. They had to continue this on with their main star and what happened to Massey. So yeah, they were absolutely gutted by it. That's
got to be a tough sell, though. Like
the crew asked them to take.
I know you're sorry that he's dead, but please wear his face for a
minute. Yeah, that was it.
Okay.
So the crew were like, "This, we need this gone." So the director literally yanked it from the stunt guy and burnt it.
Right.
Instantly just burnt it because they could not have that. It looked too realistic. So that's when he decided digital was the only way forward, was to, because the movie was done. It was all finished. There was just finishing touches that needed to go in. I think one of them is the makeup scene where he's putting his makeup on.
Right. I heard it was the guitar scene as well when he's playing the guitar. That wasn't Brandon.
That might not be. Yeah. But I'm sure the makeup scene, because the makeup scene, you're talking about the editing, that is very sketchily put together. It's weird how it reflects as well off the mirror, his face. It's
actually a bit like, I don't think it's bad in terms of the editing. I think it's bad because the acting was bad. So knowing that it's not him, literally it has it. The two scenes where I just think the actor is a bit shit is when he's climbing the ladder at the beginning and pretends to miss a thing. That's not very well done. And when he's doing the makeup thing and it pushes all the makeup off the table, I think that's kind of shittily done. So I kind of like the idea that it was a stunt double doing it, who's like, oh, I meant to do other stuff, am I? Oh well.
Yeah, they had to become creative in how they filled in the gaps, because these people did not want to see his face.
Yeah.
Not after what they've been through.
It's a difficult experience as well. And I know we'll probably get into it a bit more. But I just want to touch back on something that Graeme said earlier as well. Just because he said it would have been like his perfect movie, there's nothing. But I think what works so well about this movie as well is how simply it was done. There was no twists. There was no bits of trying to be extra clever. If you think about the story and the plot, it's very much A, B, C, and it doesn't really divulge or go off track. And you can pretty much see where it's going or anything. And I think a lot of movies now forget that can be a good thing. Just tell a story, but do it well. And
totally agree.
And it sounds simply done, but like a lot of movies now, and I think that's what's happened with the Crow's sequels that come afterwards. They try and be too clever, or they've not had the cast members to to be able to do it. Because I know we touched on it before as well. The cast is brilliant, especially the four main antagonists, like the bad guys. All four of them sinister and horrible in so many different ways, but kind of when you've gotten them all together, it's like all levels of evil in one place, and slime, disgusting, and like evokes so many different emotions when you're watching it. And I think the actors deserve so much credit for, unless they all four of them are the biggest dirtbags arseholes in the world, which I hope they're not, but it's just done perfectly well.
Oh, absolutely. Michael Massey is a massive standout. Obviously, Fun Boy, he's huge. And unfortunately, it was Michael who had the gun in his hand when it went off. And I did not know this. And I put a post on my Facebook that I know death. I know people. I point out quite a lot that people have died. I had no idea that Michael Massey had passed away. No idea. I saw him in an episode of Criminal Minds, and he was fucking flawless. That man is absolutely sinister. He is brilliant. And then I was like, oh my God, he died in 2016.
Yeah.
I did not know that. I had no idea. And he didn't work he had a bit part in Seven, which I think was in production while he was doing this. And then he quit acting for a very long time.
Well, that's it. I mean, do we want to talk about the death?
We might as well. We're in it with the four guys.
It's going to be... It's a big part of this movie, as much as I think the movie in itself, even if that didn't happen, the movie could stand up to the test of time.
Yeah.
It definitely was a big part of what came after. It's one of those movies that you will not really be able to get into any discussion about without talking about it, I think.
I think it's not just the like, there's so many factors that happened. It was like the facts, the lies, the bullshit that came up. Then it was the urban myths. Then it was basically the history with the Lee family, like
the Lee curse,
the Lee curse, and the tragedies that's always followed them and stuff like that. And I know it sounds weird. They made the film a little bit more infamous in a bad way, but it doesn't detract from what we got. It just makes it sad it's a sad movie anyway.
It
just
sad.
Brings, like, when I first watched it and I realized when I heard about it, I admit I cried. Like I say, it's heartbreaking, but there's that much shit that came out, like, on the internet, especially when the internet actually happened. It was like saying, they said, they kept the scene that he was shot in the movie. That was bullshit. It was apparently I got told very young that the scene, when he's in the warehouse, when he's on the table and he got shot, I was told that's the scene he was killed in. It's not. So there's that many different things that came out.
It's the one with Fun Boy, isn't it?
Yeah,
it's Fun Boy.
Fun Boy puts his hand over the gun at Fun Boy, and it was the next shot after that.
It's one of the. I love that scene between Fun Boy, Sarah's mum, and him.
Darla.
Darla.
She was as grotty and horrible as she looked beautiful as well.
Stunning. Vulnerable. The vulnerability in that woman, especially when she's standing in the kitchen trying just to cook her daughter eggs, and she conveys it with just her eyes. I've seen her in a fair few things, but she's never kind of been like a leading actress. She's always been like kind of a support. She is fucking phenomenal. The amount of things that I heard out the back of this, you're absolutely right, Paul. Like the different scenes of where they said he was being shot. Johnny Depp was apparently a stand-in for him. He never fucking was. He never touched this fucking set. But it's heartbreaking that Michael Massey had that put onto him. It's very, very recently happened on the Alec Baldwin film. There is so many people who get their hands on that gun before it is put in that actor's hand.
And
it shouldn't.
At least,
and it should never have happened.
Well, at least the thing here is that it wasn't a live round, was it? It was a horrendous accident.
Horrendous.
Wasn't it something to do with one of the bullets jamming and then it was behind it?
It was a blank that had been deformed to the point, I think, that it was actually dangerous. I think it was something like that, where they're like, oh, it's not meant to actually go out, but because of a random condition with the gun. That's how I understand it.
That was my understanding.
And this is the horrible thing, though, where it's like we talk about sort of gun control on sets and stuff like that, but the reality about life is that you can have as many people taking as many precautions as possible, and horrible stuff can still happen.
Yeah.
And this was the one in a million, after like these people probably doing 100 films a year and nothing going wrong with it. Like when you think about the boardroom scene, I call it a boardroom, but they're all fucking criminals. But I think, well, actually, no, that's what boardrooms
It's so
are.
Batman. I love it.
Yeah.
That scene right there is so fucking Batman. Like I'm expecting the Joker to come out of somewhere.
Exactly, that's it. But it's the fact of how many blank rounds were shot in that scene. Like literally, how many guns were fired?
No, you're right.
At about the same distance to Brandon Lee or a stunt double then, and yet it's the scene where about 2 shots actually get fired, 3 shots, I think, and that's where the blank, manages to kill someone. It's horrible.
It is. It's really sad that Brandon Lee had to celebrate a birthday on set and died on set. It breaks my heart every time I think about it. They had a huge party for him, and then he died not long afterwards.
How old was he?
I'm not sure. I will find out because I am
27
close.
Club. That'll be freaky.
He is not.
I don't think he was. No,
think. Oh my gosh, hang on. I'm on Wikipedia. I'm nearly there. He was 28.
Okay, so we just avoided it.
Jesus.
It's even worse, really. He's like, I survived the 27 Club.
Cool.
Yeah, his birthday was the 1st of February and he died on the 31st of March.
Wow.
That is so sad. And this whole curse of the Lees, 2.
Yeah.
There's 2. His poor sister's sitting there going, what the fuck?
But it doesn't affect females, though. That's thing. It's a male curse. That's
it's a male
one. Oh, my apologies. My apologies.
Yeah, they don't recognise female there. So, but yeah, sorry.
That's it. Like, no, you're not allowed to have any mythology. Sorry.
He became such a figure though of like my growing up.
Yeah.
Because of the fact that he was gone.
I don't think anyone in our age group didn't have a Crow poster or a Brandon Lee poster on the wall.
I was just going to say, I had that one, which was just the column of light with him like coming through the door in the middle.
It's right there. Sorry, I'm looking at it right now. I had that. I've got. I never owned the graphic book. Like I said, I read it in a library. But I've had some unusual or an unusual doll that I own of Eric Draven. I was explaining to you before we came on. He's a soft body with a very hard head. So when he sits, he kind of just crumbles forward. So he can't be displayed properly. I don't know where he is. I would love to know where he is. He's so unique. And he's got this like painted leather jacket on and everything. It's very 90s goth.
I've got me little Eric behind us on my left shoulder.
My other Eric is in the living room somewhere. I have, remember the old bobbleheads?
Yes.
I have old one of them. He's kicking about somewhere.
I have something which is a little bit different, which I class as Crow memorabilia. It's not a figure of a sort.
I was going to say you've got the bullet.
I was going to say we got the bullet.
Wait a minute.
I have.
Sarah, do it.
Do you know one of the bands that appear in the movie with the female singer and the white corset?
You said the name earlier.
From Time. They're called Time. This is the song called Time Baby, or is the band called Time Baby?
No, Graeme said the name earlier.
It's Jesus and Mary Chain, isn't it? Oh no, or is it Thrill Kill Cold?
Thrill Kill, that one.
My Life with a Thrill Kill Cold. I couldn't remember.
I have the full recording of their performance in that club as a you know when you get a promo.
Yeah.
I've got the video promo of their performance.
Oh, amazing!
That's really cool.
Very cool.
Amazing.
I think this is the thing, though, that this is during the 90s. This was the thing. Like every rocker, every goth was obsessed with this film. Like I think my first boyfriend was so obsessed with it. He had like little crow shrine where he had like the figurine, and he had, you know how everyone had the fucking like the dragons with a big crystal ball or something in it. You know that.
Oh yeah, like the wings and like a whole.
Yeah. You know that thing where they all had little sort of like pewter shit.
Yes,
But,
yes.
we basically
I have an
that,
ex
and
who
it
had
was
shit like that too.
yeah, and he'd watch it all the time. And once we came home from a rock night, it was basically like, oh, it's 1 a.m., 1 a.m., 2 a.m. What should we watch? Let's put The Crow on. And it was very much that kind of culture, and it kind of it informed everyone. It was their sort of film, and that's the thing though. I kind of be interested to see what people think watching it fresh now, because I'm watching it, okay, where I love it as a film. I've seen it a lot of times, but watching it as an actual film, you're like, I think this is brilliant. I think the way the flow of it is brilliant. I think the characters of it are brilliant. So I kind of struggle that someone might watch it now and be like,
And go,
"Oh, that was shit. Oh, that's so
Yeah.
dated. That's so crap." Because it's set in its own world. There's no mobile phones. There's no sort of computers.
I love
There's
that.
not. Yeah, it's literally. I just kind of go, "This is its own little bubble that doesn't really feel 90s to me," but. Maybe I'm old,
It was.
I know it's going to sound very strange, but I would put this in the same bracket as Blade Runner, because it has its own little type of like feel. Like it's timeless, because Blade Runner, as I said, as Graeme said perfectly, it's its own little world, and you can put that in 10 years, 30 years from time. Yeah, it's not meant to be in the future. It's just setting its own little thing.
You can't tell Rocky Horror is 70s. You can't tell Blade Runner is 80s, only because it informed the entire fucking 80s. Blade Runner is in the 80s because it's fucking Blade Runner. But if you kind of said, what about this specifically is 1980, and I think The Crow is the same for the 90s, where you're just going like, we know it's 90s, but I wouldn't look at it and go, well, it's blatantly 1990.
Yeah, I think with The Crow as well, because it was a very confusing time, especially like at the time when The Crow came out. Everyone wanted to have long hair. I was very jealous I couldn't grow the long hair. And it, like I said, long leather jackets, everyone had them. But then Columbine happened. And everyone was like, we can't have leather jackets anymore.
We touched upon this on an episode on Monsters about how a movie had come out that kind of like was a defiant point for people. Like this was kind of like my defiant point. This was my transition, and it was 94. Cobain had just died. And this movie had come out, and I was like kind of transitioning into, where I am right now, the person I am right now. And
Mega goth.
I was going into that, but this was the movie that moved that forward, this and The Craft. And then Columbine happened. And then it was like, oh shit, maybe I should just pull back a little bit, because I don't want to be associated with people like that because of the stuff that was coming out of it.
But that was the thing with Columbine. It was blaming, because America being America, they didn't want to go, oh yeah, gun laws, it's that fault.
Let's not blame the obvious.
It's the goths. It's the goths and Marilyn Manson. But we found out Marilyn Manson was to be blamed for other things, but not Columbine. I'll give him that.
Well, he got one up on this one. I think I mentioned it on Monsters. There is an amazing book. I am looking at it right now by Dave Cullen. And everything that you think you know about Columbine. He basically puts to rest. It's a lot of bullshit. These people are not the people that they have been portrayed to be. They are just fucking assholes who were asked
they weren't bullied people. They weren't like sort of victims fighting back or anything like that.
No.
They were just fucking dickheads who didn't know how to make a pipe bomb properly, which, isn't really a crime in itself, but I'm glad they did.
Me too. But that book is absolutely amazing. If you want to have everything dispelled on all the bullshit that you've heard about Columbine, Dave Cullen does it absolutely amazing in that book. But it did make things difficult when the likes of you trying to express yourself through a movie that you've seen, and then they're going to do something like that.
I'm sorry, we're having a serious moment, and the chat's just going, Donna shot GR. That just, sorry.
Oh wow, okay, I am just catching up.
Oh
guys, we're having a minute here.
I have to say, like, I would have loved to have rocked the Brandon Lee look when I was a kid, but I had proper sort of body dysmorphia where, like, I was skinny enough to do it, and I did have the long hair, but I thought I was too fat. And that's literally the idea of the lovely teenage and 20s for
Oh,
you.
I've seen photos of you when you were younger. You were a beautiful man. You're still a beautiful man.
You still are a beautiful man, but you did have magnificent hair.
It's crazy. I found a picture the other day where it's literally like down past my nipples, and I'm just like going, that was way longer than I remember.
Hopefully people are not too confused, because the episode of Monsters that's going up tomorrow, my hair is like all the way down here. It's like so long, and I've just gone and cut it all off.
Yeah.
Oh my God, time travel
works. I mean.
Yes. One character we haven't touched on, and I want to talk about, just because after watching it yesterday, I realised how fucking amazing he is in this movie. He doesn't. He's the pawnbroker Gideon. Like, how fucking sinister.
What, you mean evil Super Mario?
Oh, but he's so fucking good in it, though. It's just like he is just a New York dickhead. You could expect like anyone acting the way he was. But just how he interacts.
I actually hate him, and that's perfect, because you're meant to.
Yeah.
He's just, what a fucking dickhead. Out of everyone, even Top Dollar, who is like a fucking vicious bastard, isn't as I don't hate him as much as Gideon, because Gideon literally just, he respects nobody. He's shit to everyone he meets. He's even giving lip to the crime boss of the city, and obviously gets stabbed through the throat for it.
Oh my God.
But and obviously it's like his go-to line is "shit on me."
Well, shit on me. I didn't realize who this is how great he looked in that movie, because I've just seen a picture of him now, and holy shit, I did not know that was him. It's John Polito. He's been in The Big Lebowski, The Rocketeer. He was. And he's died.
Oh God! Oh, no. Did Donna kill him as well? So we can put that
2016. 2016. Another one who died. He is part of the 2016 club.
Right.
Is there some kind of cut? Is there some kind of like? Hold on.
Can you not remember 2016? Can you not remember 2016?
I don't talk about 2016. Two big people in my life died that year.
Right.
Famous people.
God. Famous people.
Yeah.
Okay.
No.
Okay. I thought we were hitting a nerve there. I was like,
two people who meant a lot to me in the world of fame went that year.
It was a big year.
I don't talk about that.
It was a big year for celebrity deaths, and he was part of them. He was also gay as well. There you go.
I didn't know that.
Didn't know that either.
Graeme,
I just learned a lot about this man in the last few seconds.
Graeme, would you?
Graeme, the picture I'm looking at him right now, he's looking. Is that all right?
Well, hold on. Well, when I've closed the Discord, I'll have a
when
look.
you're finished with the Lee,
that's it. When I'm bored of it. But...
So regarding, like I say, because the rumours are they always keep saying they're going to make a new one or a follow up. I know we've talked about don't remake The Crow like story for story, because from reading the graphic novel from James O'Barr, was it? James Barr?
Yeah.
James O'Barr was it?
James O'Barr.
The story from that, like the short run that they did initially, is basically the Crow movie in essence.
Yeah.
How would you like doing a modern tale now? As you said, how would you just go about doing it? What would the idea be? Would it be in the world of the Crow, or in that world just a different vengeance, or telling a completely new, different story in a different world, different country, different thing, like having a Scottish Crow? That'd be quite interesting. A Highlander coming back.
Irish one.
An Irish one. An
Irish one. That'd be hilarious. I like the idea of still staying within the where is actually located. Did it have a name?
No, I think it's just a made up city. I think it's like Gotham.
We'll call it Gotham for now. But I do like the idea of staying in Gotham, and it being like a myth, like a legend, like something like it didn't happen. It couldn't happen, but then it does fucking happen. But not on the same basis of landlords coming in. It's just something more up to date that would kind of like piss someone off.
I'm going to talk my ultimate fantasy here, and that's going to sound kinky, but it's not. This would be my ultimate. Well, I think it would work, but I think it would be like, just because we've just gotten the House of Usher, the Fall of House Usher, a Mike Flanagan take 6 to 8 episode series on The Crow. Like
just let Mike Flanagan do everything.
But to see how dark and how like them characters, because he knows he uses the
Yeah.
same. Have a little Elliot from E.T. being the crow. No, not probably someone different. But yeah, sorry. But
No,
having
but the guy from Midnight Mass,
Mhm.
the
vicar.
main guy. No, not the vicar.
Oh,
Seriously, thought that vicar was him from Sinister. I genuinely
Really?
thought, yeah, I was waiting for him to come on, and I'm like, where is he? I love this guy. He was in It Part 2. And, oh, that's not him. I text Dan and went, where is he? And she's like, he's not in it. I'm like, oh, okay. No, the guy who plays Henry Thomas's son.
right. No, I get that. Yes.
Quite edgy, isn't he?
Bit
So
short though. A bit short.
Yeah, he is quite short, but I don't know. Did Edward because Edward Furlong's really short?
Yeah, but
he
didn't
really pull it off, did he?
Yeah. I think it's got to be an imposing figure, like I say, like it has to be
maybe
lean.
Yeah.
Well, oh, hang on. Could we not do a female?
Yeah, I would love that.
There was a
I would.
female, yeah.
I think that would be good. Like, I think the idea, I love your idea, Sammy, of if we said in the same city and had it saying a couple of years later a similar incident happens, but that it kind of goes over how much of a legend this thing is. Because one criticism I'd give to the film is how vague the ending is for how it'll continue. Because effectively what we get is we basically get Ernie Hudson gets no justice whatsoever. We don't see him get re-promoted. We don't even know if he dies in hospital effectively. We just see him sort of shot and wheeled off and then joking with his bastard chief inspector. Oh, look, I sorted it. But what he
I thought you were going to say Sarah there, bastard Sarah.
Bastard Sarah, fuck off. Let me die in peace, bitch.
Get your fucking skateboard.
Yeah, get your skateboard, but get your skateboard and fuck off. But it's the idea of like what he says to the chief inspector is your vigilante is up on the roof, leading the whole police force to go top dollar is the vigilante who's been killing T-Bird and Skank and everything. So we never even find out about Eric Draven, essentially. So I like the idea of that being a rumor in the city that comes out later, but also like what effect it has. Like, do we have it where like 10 years down the line, is Devil's Night not a thing anymore because all the people are very dead now that we're doing it? Or has Devil's Night become a happy thing now?
It's like a celebration type thing where they celebrate the grow. There could be
so much you could do with
Well, that's it. They're celebrating something that could be potentially real or potentially myth. Like it's kind of like an urban legend, and they're just having this like celebration for it. Can we just quickly talk about the ending of this movie and how Top Dollar gets to die?
Yeah,
because that is fucking amazing.
I think it's great. Like but this is what I mean about the exposition. The film sets everything up. Nothing happens for no reason in this film, and it's wonderful. Where it's basically like, obviously, like Officer Albrecht basically says, "Oh yeah, I stayed with your dying fiance because I wanted to see if she had any leads or whatever, and I was hoping she woke up out of the coma before she died." But you know that it's because he's just a genuinely good person.
Genuinely cared whether she lived or died.
Yeah, like in this city, he is the only, like literally the only other people we see in this city are shitheads. Like even the guy who owns the hot dog stand. Like what's his line where he's like, I think there's going to be what this city needs is a national, what is it? A natural disaster.
Yeah.
And you're natural disaster.
Natural disaster, yeah.
I mean, that's how I feel about sort of Tory Britain. However,
we've already had the pandemic, so do you know what I mean?
Well,
we ain't getting out of shit.
I'm still sweating over that, so fuck now.
Yeah, we ain't getting out of shit. But
that's the thing. It's the idea of he is a genuinely good person who did that good deed, and yet it manages to save Eric.
It's the pain. It's what he gives him, where he gives him the pain, the fear, the suffering, and he hands it all to him. And
it's like a release. It's like a release.
From him, and the given to the other guy, and how he acts that with just like the facial expressions in here are amazing. How much they act with their face this should be an acting class. because you can see the torment as he's got his hands on his face and he's transferring all of this emotion into him. And then he gets flown off the fucking roof. So he has that fucking time between having all of it poured into him to then hitting the ground to have it in there. I love it. I love the ending of this movie.
It's also the idea of, this is something that I joke about, fuck the Tories and so, well, no, obviously I'm quite serious about that, but I mention it a lot. But it's that is very much what happens here, where we're talking about how Top Dollar is so far away from the actual reality of what he's doing. He is a massive crime lord. He doesn't fucking know the people that he got killed. He doesn't know the fucking random people who got killed because like he wanted rent or whatever. And it's like Tory Britain, where you just want to sit down with like someone in Parliament and be like, hey, this is the fucking reality of how people are living. So effectively what Top Dollar gets is he gets kind of, hey, here is one scenario and all of the pain that you caused
of one scenario.
Yeah, of one person. And it's enough to fucking, like, you know, kill him effectively.
But he does make it,
I think there's something wonderfully poetic about that.
Yeah, and he does make the comment as well, like he says, when Top Dollar's doing his big bad end of level speech and saying, he's like telling them all this, like, you meant nothing to us. He said, but you did make me smile for a moment. And it's like, you fucking conniving twat.
Yeah. He's awful human being, but played by an amazing actor who when I watched Nope, I nearly cried that he was on my telly because I always think to myself when I see him, you do not see him enough.
Well, isn't he in Robin Hood as well? He's the second. I was gonna say he's the second best thing in Prince of Thieves, because like I say, Sheridan Nottingham always good, but the guy of Gisborne is played very well.
It's his cousin.
He's so good.
Yes.
He's the one who's going to get his heart cut out by a
spoon. Why a spoon? 'Cause it'll hurt more, you idiot.
There is some absolute corking quotation lines in this movie. Fire it up, obviously being one of them. Shit on me, come on. That's a big fucking crow.
That's a big fucking crow.
We'll give Sarah the famous line. Give it. Go on, say it, Sarah.
Well, no, I was going to say my favourite's actually the one that Eric says to Darla when he's getting the drugs out of our system.
Oh yeah.
Mother is the word for God on the lips and hearts of all children.
Like, fuck off, Eric, man. Like, that's just like you're getting drugs out of our system and then giving up poetry at the same time.
Yeah, that's it. It's just like, could you be more goth? Could you be? He's just like,
that's it. That's the
so
goth.
here's some poetry I've written. I don't think it's very good, but you know.
But anyway,
I mean, yeah. There's always the famous can't rain all the time as well.
Yeah.
Which, I was actually last year,
which in Britain is technically untrue.
Yeah,
it is very untrue. Yes, but last year the lady who actually sings that song was playing in Durham, and I was gutted that I couldn't go and see her.
Oh no,
Jane
I didn't realize.
Yeah,
I didn't realize it was an actual thing.
Yeah, she actually did a gig in Durham last year, and I really wanted to go.
Oh no,
I couldn't make it.
Bless her though. Imagine that though, if like she's got a whole career and she does gigs and people just sing the song from The Crow.
But I have other numbers. We want to hear the song.
I mean, hold on. Can I go?
Her version of it doesn't actually appear till the credits though. So
right.
Oh, is that her?
That's her singing as the credits go.
The other one is "Don't Move." I said freeze. Well, I'm the police and I say don't move, Snow White. You move, you're dead. And I say I'm dead. And I move.
I mean, we seem to be dancing around the best quote of the entire film, which is, quick impression for you. Call, bang, fuck, I'm dead. You know? It's just one of like the best villain lines ever in anything. And obviously, although we also get, I like the pretty lights, but gets said by Micah and is possibly the most quoted line from a film with me and my mates that isn't from a Hellraiser. You know,
I do like that.
I like the pretty lights.
Fun boy, don't you ever fucking die.
Yeah.
Victims, aren't we all? I fucking love that line.
That's it.
Jesus Christ walks into a bar and hands the innkeeper 3 nails and says, "Can you put me up for the night?"
Yeah.
I mean, to be fair though, I think my favorite and most poignant line is fucking T-Bird when he's getting like stitched up in the car, where he's literally talking about, hey, we killed you dead. There ain't no coming back.
You can't come back.
That hits me every time. At just how well acted it is, where this guy just goes, oh Jesus!
It's the
Christ.
quiver in his voice. His voice
back
breaks
from the dead, and it's just perfect. It's so good.
Yeah, the voice breaks, and like say when he's that guy who plays David, you can see in his eyes, because his eyes is just white. Like I know he's got duct tape around his forehead and stuff like that, but
and it's also the fact of they don't know who he is. None of these people, like there's the whole thing with Tintin at the beginning, the first person that he goes for, who genuinely, even after Eric has told him, like, oh yeah, you sort of, you raped and killed my wife and killed me. And Tintin's still like, oh, yeah, of course I know what fucking bitch you're talking about. Because he doesn't. And it's the idea that T-Bird here actually goes, oh, fuck, I do remember.
He starts quoting the
he starts quoting the same verse he said
Shelley
at the time. And it's that idea of that's akin to Top Dollar getting, the seeing what it's like from his victim's point of view. It's like T-Bird being like, oh, shit. I'm fully responsible for the situation I find myself in right now.
The devil stood and felt how awful goodness is.
Oh, hello.
The idea of like, what is it? A bastard? What is it? A bastard devil stood? It's a very weird word to say,
Oh, I do like the fact that Tintin, where he's some bitch, some dude, whatever. Like he doesn't give two fucks.
Mañana.
He doesn't. Oh, mañana. Halloween is not until mañana.
That's it. The poor thing is, Tintin dies way too early in the film, and he's fantastically done.
Oh,
like his scenes are gems.
Amazing.
But
I would like to have seen more of them, but I would like to have seen more of all of like the three of them. I think I would like to just have it just a bit drawn out, just a little bit.
Yeah.
But don't get wrong, I ain't arguing over what we got.
I think that's why a TV show would work better with.
Did you not watch the Mark Dacascos one?
The which one?
There was the TV show.
Oh
my
God! But we don't talk about it. So
That's the thing that I did actually try and watch it because I'd never seen it. So I did try and watch it after my Devon's night watching of the movie. And I mean, I absolutely love Mark Dacascos. But unfortunately I couldn't get through the third episode of the show.
He kind of looks like him.
Yeah, he did actually kind of look like him in the show. The first episode is basically just a remake of the movie.
Right.
Stairway to Heaven.
It's a remake of the movie, and I just couldn't.
It's the stairway to heaven. No stairway denied.
Yeah,
but it's. I think
couldn't get through it.
The problem is that they've tried to recapture the magic of this film, and they have failed. Like I totally disagree with you, Sammy, that I think City of Angels is a big pile of wank.
I fucking love it.
The actual film itself, the fact they get Iggy Pop in, and that is a scene where it's Iggy Pop basically just stumbling around a warehouse. And you're like,
dude, I've seen Iggy Pop live. That's all he did on stage too.
Yeah. I've seen Iggy Pop's penis live.
Well, me and is
that why you've got twins now, Sarah?
That was also on a big stage.
Oh wow!
Oh God, I really didn't want to say that.
But it's the idea of like, to be fair, he does actually have. He's one of those celebrities that asked for a cameo in Star Trek, so he is in Star Trek DS9 as one of the monsters, which is hilarious. Because he's actually really good. Because he's so distinct, and you're like, who the fuck is this actor? Oh, it's Iggy Pop. Okay, forgive him.
I'm sorry. I've got the cast in front of us for City of Angels, and Vincent Perez, fucking love him. If you are a big fan of Queen of the Damned, he is in that. Can't remember what he's called in it, but I will find out.
Remember Thoi Tran?
Yeah, Koi Tran's in it. Mia Kushner's in it. Richard Brooks and Vincent Castellanos is in it. It's a really good cast. I thoroughly enjoyed, but it's probably for my love of Vincent Perez.
I just think that whoever made the decision to just be like, okay, guys, listen, okay, it's going to be The Crow, but everything is going to be pissy yellow. Okay, so
the sepia color. Why?
Like someone pissed on the camera. You know, like, and you just
I
sit there being
hear
like,
that you are so right.
Yeah, the sepia color.
why is it
I could never
yellow?
get my head around that either.
Who goes kind of like, we need something that's goth. What's a goth color?
Yellow.
Yellow. You know,
Yeah,
like,
it's like the Zack Snyder Man of Steel. It's like, oh, we've got the brightest, colourfulest outfit for a superhero. Let's make it dull and boring.
It is. It just, and it's how badly, you know, it's very weird. Like, also, Goodwill in the chat, Iggy Pop is not the best voter next to Jeffrey Combs. The female one. I prefer the female one. Jeffrey Combs, then the female one, then Iggy Pop. There we go.
Yes.
Well,
we're not even on tracking, and I'm arguing with Goodwill.
Goodwill. Vincent Perez played Marius in Queen of the Damned.
Right.
He was the one who kept going, "Hello, David."
He's the one who gets killed with a scythe, isn't he? I think.
So no, that's Interview with the Vampire.
I knew that.
Not many people can remember Queen of the Damned. It doesn't have memorable stuff, just a memorable song.
It was missing half the story.
Yes.
I think the problem with Queen of the Damned is that I remember when the book came out and someone told me sort of like the blurb from it, and I was like, this sounds terrible. It's like Lestat is back and he's a rock star, and you're like, oh, is she bored now?
Yes.
You know?
No, she needs more money. That's all she needed. But yes. So I know we've talked about, like, say, the remakes, the sequels, the TV show. Do you think, again, that the movie The Crow was just a one-time thing, perfect cast, perfect story, filmed the right way, like everything kind of hit the, like, magic in a bottle, very hard to replicate the same thing without trying to do it as a scene-by-scene remake, because they're never going to get anyone, because it's always going to be compared. Like, if you do a remake, like, oh, he's not good as Manson as Fun Boy, T-Bird's not quite right, Tintin's not as sinister, and them are always going to be the elements. So this is kind of like a one-in-a-lifetime type movie in my eyes, with like having the conversation. Because I know we've had discussions previously about other films, like if you were going to do sequels or if you're going to do run-offs. I know doing a TV show, that's the only thing where it work, but I can't see them getting it anywhere to this level or having the same type of impact. It would be Crow Light or a Crow universe, but it wouldn't ever like stand up, because for me, even though this has got sequels, it's a standalone movie that lives by itself.
Yeah, I agree with you. I want this just to be his legacy. That's it. Leave it be. Let it be his. Let it be ours as well from our youth. And stop trying to replicate it. If you want, don't get us wrong. I'm not one of these people who's getting angry over the fact that we are potentially having a new Crow movie. I just don't want to see this done again.
Yeah.
No.
Do something else.
Stop remaking this.
Yeah.
Change the story.
I think,
like you said earlier, that there is a female Crow in the novels in the comics. Go with that for a change.
Have two of them. Have a male and female dual whack. Let's do this.
But this is the thing, though. It's the fact of, it's like, that's what's so frustrating. It's so fucking easy. Like, it literally, you have all of the building blocks to make this, but I feel like, you know, I think this is magic. What is it? Magic in a bottle or whatever, lightning in a bottle.
Yeah.
Where I personally go, you can't recapture this because it's so 90s. It was so part of that particular thing. However, we have seen it with Blade Runner, where it was the fact of, they did by going, hey, there's so many massive fans of this. How about we just do a really fucking true, like, follow on to Blade Runner, and we only get people involved who are really serious about this, and we make it so it's not focused on money. And mostly people were like, well done. Okay, well done for a follow-up. And so it can kind of be done, but it's the idea of, we have a Hollywood that doesn't work that way. We have a Hollywood being like, oh, how can we make money from it? And that's the problem.
How many sequels can we get from this now type
exactly
thing?
They would be thinking about a franchise. They would be wanting the fucking, fucking episode, what is it, 7, 8, and 9, like...
The thing is, though, if Brandon Lee lived, let's live in a world where Brandon Lee actually survived this, would we have had more stories of Eric Draven, or because I know the graphic novels are one and done, but could we have continued the story with him under something different, something else that's
it would have tarnished it if they'd done that. Like because Eric's sole purpose was because of the relationship with Shelley.
Just that.
Unless they go back and say Shelley was abused as a kid, and he goes back and tries to take on the childhood abusers, but
Graeme's right though. But I like what Graeme said earlier with the fact that yes, he was doing it for revenge for Shelley, but there was also the bigger picture of the city as well and everyone else it was affecting. Could that not have been like another driving force? Is yes, Shelley's laid to rest. That side's done, but there's still work to be done. I got rid of one. It's like Hydra when one head falls, another one grows. This crime world's not just going to stop and everything's going to be light and fluffy because Top Dollar's gone. There will be somebody else to take that place.
Yeah, there's a power vacuum left at the end of this film. And obviously the police force aren't really very good,
No, they're pretty shit in this city, let's be honest. I mean, they need like Commissioner Gordon or something to like come and take over and take, and let's just make it a Batman film. Hey.
And the one thing we haven't talked about as well, and again, I can't believe I threw us the other night, how fucking strong was the crow's beak? Because it was chipping away at that fucking tombstone, like say with like it was cheese. I was like, what the fuck is that? Is it
it's a raven?
It's a raven.
I just love the idea that the crow's just there being like, wake up, you cunt.
It's time to get up.
Do your job.
Oh, I've got to set my crow alarm. But to be fair, though, actually, my big thing that I get a bit annoyed at, and obviously this is as you get older and you start realizing that things are expensive. How the fuck, did they afford graves? Like, they actually have graves and headstones for both Shelley and Eric.
Okay,
Who
so
did
America's very different to us. So if we can't afford things, we just can't afford things. But in America, there is people who you can get stuff done cheaply, basically.
Yeah.
You can't here.
So it was a cheese made grave. That's why the crow was able to destroy it.
Yeah, it was probably, yeah. But no, I totally agree with you. Like, how the fuck? Like, there are some fancy pants engravings in there.
I kind of assumed that maybe Officer Albrecht paid for them. I think
would
maybe
love to think that.
and it's not mentioned, and I kind of like the idea in my head that he was the one who paid for them. However, it's also the idea of, why is Eric buried in jeans and a t-shirt, and why is the t-shirt ripped at the back? Why is all of his outfits ripped at the back throughout the movie?
But do you not think he looks like he's basically just been dumped in there as he was on the night it happened?
Is that not part of how
because you just go, we just found him on the ground, so we stuck him in a coffin.
Get him in there.
Spend a while getting this tombstone perfect, and you're like, hang on,
But get him in that coffin right now, just as he looks. Right, dump him in.
That's it. Go on, in you go.
It's one of those things, movie magic.
I mean,
I
would like to put forward something for the affording of the grave. What about his shares from the band that he was in?
Oh, the bandmates. The bandmates never mentioned.
That's it. It could be the
band
bandmates.
had records out because Sarah plays one of their vinyls.
But I love the fact that it could be Ernie Hudson's character who did it, because he is the type of person who wouldn't take credit for it, so he wouldn't bring it up.
Well, I kind of
think
like
he
the
at
idea
least
that it's
organised it.
unspoken.
I would like to think that he at least organised everything.
With the fact of, you have it where he's going through a divorce with his wife, and you kind of get the impression that maybe his wife is just like, will you stop spending our money
on these graves?
On random graves.
Will you stop buying fucking gravestones? And he's just like, just one more.
Or he's just trying to get rid
eBay
of his money so she can't get it.
These teenagers. They keep dying. They keep dying when I'm trying to help them.
I shouldn't be laughing, but here we are.
But yes. You know what would be quite an interesting take? Because as you said, you don't know what kind of world they live in. Imagine if this was a crossover between, like, say, The Crow and the movie Seven, within the same universe.
Well, Michael Massey was doing Seven at the same time.
I like the idea of it being the same city. I think it's this idea of, but the problem is that would suggest that there were competent cops in that city at somewhere.
Somewhere, and that was not the case. Who actually directed The Crow? I've never really looked into that.
This is the crazy thing, okay? It's Alex Proyas who did Dark City.
Yes. Oh, you can tell very much so.
Really?
Yes. Yeah.
I really need to watch Dark City, but it's not on anything. I'm gonna have to actually pay on Amazon to just buy it. 'cause
You're
I'm like,
gonna
look,
have to what?
I know. I will have to purchase my things.
If you've got a Fire Stick, Graeme, I'll help you out. Don't worry.
Well, no, I'm furious. The fact of I pay for Disney,
wow.
I pay for Disney Plus, I pay for Amazon, I pay for Paramount Plus, I pay for Netflix, I pay for Disney Plus.
You pay for
I may
Paramount?
mention that. Yeah, all of them that I pay for monthly, and then I still can't find any films I want. The Crow I had to actually pay Amazon for, and Dark City I have to pay Amazon for, and I'm like, why am I paying for all these?
I know this is going to go
They don't have anything I want on.
Going off on tangents here, just because you mentioned Paramount. How good is the new Frasier? I'm really enjoying it. Sorry,
I haven't watched any of it. I was basically the problem is I saw an advert on Facebook, like one of the like shitty short things, and I watched it and I was like, "Ooh, that's not very good." And then I was just like, "Oh well, I'll give it the time of day. I'll check it out." And then search for Frasier on Amazon because for some reason it isn't on the front page. And then it came up with the original series, and I was like,
Oh, what's that?
okay, you don't need to throw up in my mouth twice. So I started watching the original Frasier, and I'm now like 16. This is when I was ill the other weekend. I literally spent a whole weekend not doing any work at all, painting Warhammer and watching Frasier. And I'm
amazing.
about 17 episodes in.
I'm fucking pleased you did. I saw a clip of it on TikTok today, and Lilith throwing a funny would just literally had me belly laughing over Nicholas Lyndhurst dressed in a white suit.
Oh god!
And they're all taking the piss out of him, saying like all these different movies, and Lilith goes, "Stop it! You don't need to do this. Now tell me, how would you like to welcome me to Jurassic Park?" I thought that was so funny.
But yeah, get past the first episode of Frasier. It's a rough watch, but after that, it feels very much back in the old, like
finds its feet.
Good.
Yeah. But yeah, sorry.
Yeah.
The Crow.
Sorry, tangents.
Yes. So The Crow. What would you rate it out of, if you? Because we're not going to give it out of 10. If you're going to give it a 5, out of 5 ratings.
How many crows out of 5?
How many crows out of 5?
How many crows are in the murder?
That's it.
So
I love the idea where like that photo where it's like 3 crows and it says attempted murder.
So Sarah, what are you going to give it out of 5?
Oh well, I'm going to give it the full murder.
You're going to give it the full murder, are you? Well, no, Graeme is, because as Graeme's always put it, it's a perfect.
I'm going for a massive
when I can only find problems with the editing and maybe Sarah's acting in places. Wow, like it's just that impressive.
No, same. There's very few perfect movies, and again, this might be nostalgia playing. I think there's like the original Halloween, Jaws, and I think this is up there. And I would say this.
I totally agree.
It should have been an 80s movie. That's the only thing.
It was pure 90s.
Still have it lose against the Goonies, Paul.
It fits the time though. It really does. It fits the time with music. It fits the time of, especially our generation as well, and where we were. It came out at the right time, just for me personally. I needed this. This and the Craft just clung on tight.
I think after watching this, you realise that comic book movies didn't have to be all fluffy and light.
Fucking right. You are totally 100% right. Me and Ants were talking about this today, to think this is actually a comic book movie.
Yeah.
I mean,
I just have that Marvel.
I just want to say two things about this movie, which is obviously how lovely I find the scene with Sarah and her mum Darla after basically Eric cures her addiction, uses his powers to sort of get the drugs out of her system and hopefully get her through withdrawal. So that's
what I was thinking. Hopefully got her through the withdrawal, because that's really shitty if you left her like that.
Yeah, she seems okay though, but it's the fact of then she's like, I'm going to try and be a mum, and that's a wonderful little epilogue for them.
But it's something so simple as breakfast.
And it's when Sarah calls her mum. That's what I think. That was a nice little touch as well, because
you won't have seen it yet, obviously, Sarah, but the Trek podcast we had on Friday, where it points out the importance of single words in sentences, where we have when Hugh in Star Trek basically uses I, and it's a massive deal. It's in this one where Sarah finally calls Darla mom. And it's like, that is just a single word, but it has a little wonderful punch in it.
Yeah.
Such a massive impact.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Other thing is, Lee mentioned earlier on in the chat that made me giggle while one of you was talking, so it's quite rude. But it was talking about the idea of what if the Crow just really liked Eric's music and brought him back to life to play music and was like, "Oh God, now you start killing people."
I didn't mean for this to happen.
He's just like, "No, God, loads of people are dead now." But I do quite like that when Eric's playing the guitar, like on the roof, it keeps cutting to massive extreme close-ups of the Crow, just being like, "What the fuck is that?"
I always think the Crow's like, "Fuck you."
Yeah.
We've not actually talked about the Crow power as well, though. Like, I know it sounds weird, the
Crow
Crow power, because he's basically got the power of the Crow. Like, if the Crow,
power of 1,000 crows.
Like if the Crow, as long as the Crow's alive, he can't die, type thing, which is quite interesting to do.
I quite like that they work it out. I quite like the idea that sort of, Top Dollar and Micah basically sort of, because she's obviously massively mystically inclined.
We'll call her Mystic Meg, shall we? That's just Mystic Meg.
Mystic Micah and her wonderful incest. I mean, hold on, actually, while we're here, because they're half brother and sister, is it incest?
It's only like half incest. Half incest.
Yeah, is it like an assist or something? Like,
it doesn't count if it's up the bum.
but it's like the fact that they work it out, and I love the idea that it adds this level where the villains, because this is the thing though, the Crow mythology is like, it's a pretty easy way to defeat them, where it's literally, if you hurt the Crow itself, then basically the person loses their their healing ability. I can't do it. Regenerative powers. Yeah.
Yeah, you go. You did it.
It means he gets shot and it heals instantly.
Yeah, the Crow's just like, no, fuck you, I'm healing myself.
Yeah, you've had enough. That boardroom scene took a lot out of us. You can go and fuck off for a minute. Yeah. I need to heal.
What we should do, the sequel should actually be that what happens is a man brings a crow back to life, and then it's this crow flying around, pecking everyone in the fucking face, and he's just got this random bloke being like, he's just not helping at all, just there in the room. And then they realize if they punch the bloke or something, then the Crow can take damage. Otherwise, it's invincible eye pecking Crow.
I really love the fact of bringing a Crow back for them to seek revenge on people who got them.
To be fair, though, if this movie was about 10 years later, I would have had like an end credit scene with Samuel L. Jackson's turning up going to the Crow. We've got a plan for you, sir.
But it's the Crow they're talking to.
So the Crow, yeah. Because I guess they were talking to Lee about it, and he was like, "Oh, well, like Brandon Lee's the Crow." I was like, "No, Brandon Lee's Eric Draven. Eric Draven is not the Crow. The film
is also played the Crow." So all of the caw sounds are literally
Brandon Lee dressed. He actually dressed up as a crow now. The big one run around second.
Special effects in this movie, man.
I genuinely thought Lee liked this film. I thought Lee was on tonight because he liked this film, but it's not. He clearly doesn't.
No, he did not. I'm doing Lee a disservice. Bless him. I'm like saying, gosh, I don't want to do that, Lee. Sorry, Lee. Gosh.
Oh gosh.
Oh gosh. Gosh. But yes.
COVID does to your return to your posh.
No. There's a joke of you in the Discord. You'll know about that.
Discord, yeah.
we were mocking him earlier, and Lee to defend him went, "Gosh, Paul's being Lee," and I was like, "You just said fucking gosh. Who the fuck are you?"
Okay, I'm being in Discord today. Never mind.
But Lee does actually like the movie. I just think he doesn't get it as we did, because I don't think Lee was a massive goth. He was an emo, so.
Okay. Well,
he was one of them filthy
handbags. I moved into that, but
yeah.
I do get why, because I'm the same with Gremlins. I didn't watch it as a kid like what yous did.
Yeah.
I watched it as an adult and went, okay,
yes,
that's a thing.
But yes, I don't want people to think I'm slating Lee for not liking the movie. Lee actually says he does like the movie. He just didn't love it like we did, if that makes sense. But that could be down to nostalgia. That's why I wanted to ask if it was a nostalgia thing. But I don't think it is, because fair enough, some of the music now I don't like. That, like say, probably 9 Inch Nails. I'm not a big Q of the fan, but I think it suits the mood and the feeling of this movie. That's fine, Graeme.
I was never a huge 9 Inch Nails fan growing up, but as an adult, I'm like, oh my God, he speaks to me. I totally get it. Where have you been? Why did I not appreciate this?
And she did get it while she was listening to Closer.
Yeah, I was fully Nine Inch Nails kid. Like
I'm a full Nine Inch
one of my
Nails.
earliest memories is my brother playing Pretty Hate Machine in 1989, and just how good it was and stuff. So yeah, crazy.
You just made me want to get an album I have not listened to in a long fucking time. I am going to fucking download after this.
I listen to it a lot, but Nine Inch Nails are absolutely fantastic, and it's crazy that they're on the soundtrack kind of thing. But and I also love the Top Dollar pretty much dresses like Trent in the
Yeah,
it was, because that was about the time of like The Perfect Drug and that, wasn't it? So it was full on Trent vampire stage, wasn't it?
Yeah, they were just like, oh well, Interview with the Vampire came out.
Trent went to a vampire stage.
Trent very much.
Oh yeah.
Look up
I love
the
how
video
Trent
to
has
The
never
Perfect
not
Drug,
been
Sammy.
beautiful.
Yes,
I will.
Trent has never not been beautiful. Where he literally started off in the sort of emo, proto-emo kind of goth kind of phase. Then he went into like sexy BDSM stage. Then he went into vampire stage with Perfect Drug and Downward Spiral. And then he went into crazy hench, like Jim Bunny thing with what was it called? Year Zero.
He went through a bit of a daddy phase after that.
That's it. And you're just kind of going like, is there a time when I don't want to fuck you? Like,
but to look at his face, if you took away the hair and took away the clothes, he does not look like he should be in that kind of music. He looks too pretty.
I did see a clip on Facebook Reels the other day of the band he was in before he started Nine Inch Nails, and they were very much like a bit more like
Stillwood.
Yeah.
they were a bit more oh god, what's the comparison I'm trying to make?
Pop,
a bit more along the lines of Spandau Ballet, I would say.
Yeah.
All right. Like,
right.
They're proper like sort of 80s synth kind of thing. But
yeah.
I just love
it.
Like Adam the Ant type thing.
He just worked in the studio. He just worked in a production studio, and then with all the equipment that the studio had, he'd just stay for hours afterwards at work using all their equipment, learning how to make crazy stuff, and then ended up making Pretty Hate Machine, which is literally, you know, the craziest industrial kind of thing.
It's one of the angriest, most interesting albums that was made from
the 90s.
Time industrial metal's finest stomper.
Yes.
Yeah. Oh, listen to her.
And then also like horrendous little wonderful passionate songs and stuff like what is it, Something I Can Never Have, and
the one that stands out to me is the one, I think the song, I can't remember who it is, but the song when he's putting the makeup on, it's like
The Cure Burn.
Yeah, it's just it's just so well paced. It fits lovely.
Cure. They got the Cure in. It was like the only thing that this film is missing goth wise is Susie and the Banshees, I think.
Oh, I totally agree.
If
you just put that in there, But do you think with Trent doing all these soundtracks and scores for movies, that he could do the score for the new one?
Yes,
potentially, yeah,
without a doubt.
It's just I just think they have to ask the question, I think.
Well,
but yes,
the thing is about
I think
the
they should get
Ed
Sheeran to do it though.
Oh god!
Taylor Swift.
God!
Imagine.
I actually, before we started this, I was looking up the soundtracks to each of the other movies and that, and I just don't think they've got the same effect.
Were
I mean,
the
a lot of them
Girls on any of them?
No,
that's the second time the Cheeky Girls have been brought to me this weekend.
Brought to you.
Anthony was singing it to us Anthony was singing it to us yesterday in the car on the way home.
Were you wearing hot pants at the time or something?
We were talking about Transylvania, and you just started singing Cheeky Girls. That's how we roll in the Bryce family.
we had it when I was on Twitch on Friday. We had people spamming like all of the rewards and stuff. So we literally had Silent Hill mixed with Cheeky Girls, mixed with Pink Lady, mixed with like what is it,
Honk.
Disney and whatnot. Yeah, with the honk one, and it was just like going, this is a mess, and I brought it upon myself.
So Sarah, what were you saying about the soundtracks there? Sorry.
Oh no, I was just saying. I think like it's the soundtrack to the first one is just kind of like a who's who of alternative and goth and rock and everything like that. But I don't think the rest of them kind of stood up to the test. I mean, they had things like I know Hall was on a couple of them, I think, and Juliette
Aye.
Lewis was on and stuff like that. But I don't
Courtney
think
Love would definitely be there.
Yeah, I just don't think it had the same kind of like
impact
impact. Yeah,
of feeling. That's the thing,
don't
because
think
it got
yeah,
the
I don't think it
mood.
matched with the movies as well.
Yeah.
You could still have a good soundtrack that matches up with the movie whilst the movie is crap.
Yeah.
But I don't think
Queen of the
that
Damned, so yeah.
gelled.
Oh,
Yeah.
just
I mean,
Jonathan
to be
Davis.
honest, you know what? On that point, the Ben Affleck Daredevil, I think the soundtrack to that movie was great, but the movie wasn't great.
I like that movie.
I've never seen it.
I actually saw the Elektra movie they made.
Yeah.
I remember being like, oh, that wasn't as bad as I thought. And then I rewatched it a couple of months ago and I was like, oh,
yeah,
how it feels to be wrong.
Again, that was the film that launched Evanescence, wasn't it?
They're just celebrating their 20th anniversary on that fucking album this weekend.
Because the Evanescence, but the song for Elektra, wasn't it? Or was it Daredevil?
Was that for Daredevil?
I'm not sure. It was
Ben Affleck never wanted to do Daredevil.
He
The
just
only
wanted
reason
to
he did it for is because it was Frank Miller.
Yeah.
And it was Frank Miller's story. And that's the only reason he did it, because he was like, I'm never going to be Batman.
I think it was a favourite.
Well do something.
I think Kevin Smith was involved at some point as well, so it was a favourite of Kevin Smith as well.
Potentially, but yeah, he was like, I just want to do something that's got Frank Miller's name in it. I'm never going to be Batman, so let's just do Daredevil.
Cool.
Oh, look what happened.
So, so is there anything that we
get to be Batman?
True.
Oh, just fuck those films.
So, anything that we've missed on The Crow tonight that because I know you've got your notes, blesses.
Oh, that's just locked in my head.
I've got my 2 facts.
Cool.
Now, I'll be honest, I haven't done a lot of actual fact checking on these, but I thought they were interesting if they are true.
Cool.
So I'm going to say apparently for both of these.
Right.
Okay.
So, you know the scene after Gideon's shop blows up, and you've got Eric sitting on the curb, and you've got Albrecht pointing the gun at him saying, "Stay where you are," type of thing.
Yeah.
And Albrecht looks over and sees some looters coming out of Gideon's shop.
This is real. This is true.
It's real, is it?
Yes.
Right, okay, Sammy knows where I'm going with it. There is one guy with long hair carrying a TV. That's James O'Barr, the creator of the comics.
Yes.
Right.
That is true.
Amazing.
So that's not an apparently, that's an actual.
Right, that's an actual.
Good.
Now, the other one was I just thought it was interesting.
Yes.
One of the stuntmen was actually Brandon's friend Chad Stahelski,
right,
who went on to direct all 4 John Wicks.
All right.
So
shut the fuck up.
If Brandon had survived, could we have possibly had Brandon as a John Wick?
Fuck, that would work. That would work.
Yes, it would work.
Yeah.
I have considered that as I used to read that. He wasn't Chad Stahelski at the time. I can't remember what his name was at the time. He went by something different.
Jeff Crow.
It was Chad. It was still Chad, but I can't remember his surname.
Hey, Chad. We've already established
Chad.
Chad's at Bellend, so he had to change his name.
Oh my God, Sarah, I love that fact.
Those are great. Those are great facts. I didn't know either of those.
Or I could have had a Brandon versus Keanu face-off. That would have been.
Yeah, I mean,
imagine the roles that Brandon would have, like Keanu would have lost out to because of Brandon Lee still being alive.
Yeah. It's a shame that we lost Brandon Lee, but there ain't no coming back.
No, it's definitely not.
Well, one thing that I wanted to mention, which is obviously a massive thing in the 90s, was role-playing games, such as obviously D&D was massive in the 70s and 80s, but in the 90s we got the World of Darkness role-playing games, where we got things like Vampire the Masquerade,
yeah,
and all of its spin-offs and stuff. And it's kind of interesting that, like, you wonder if that influenced a lot of this, because it was that whole goth explosion that happened in the 90s and whatnot.
Yeah.
And I think one scene that I quite like that I never really appreciated until I rewatched it like recently is the fact of, in the World of Darkness, in the idea of there's one of the spin-offs which is the most depressing, which is Wraith the Oblivion. It points out that ghosts are tied to the world by fetters, so that you can only actually pass on when you've destroyed all of your fetters. And then basically, like, the things that tie you to reality, such as like memories and things that were important to you that keep you tied to the physical plane. Obviously, please let's do an episode about Jacob's Ladder so we can talk about this a bit more. But it's the idea of the scene where he's sitting there in the house when he meets up with Sarah properly, and he's burning all the old photos and he's destroying all of the actual old possessions and stuff he has to do with Shelley. And I like the idea that it's him getting ready to move on, because obviously he does get to move on at the end, but it's him destroying all of these memories that have been time capsuled in the house, basically.
Keeping them there, keeping them in this world. No, I like that.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah,
I do. I love that. I always thought that was kind of like him having to, like, kind of not being able to see it. I can't do this and focus on this. So I need to get rid of it.
Yeah,
it's like I saw it as him making his bed effectively,
breaking the bodies.
Hey, the next thing I do is going to be like the end of it, so I've got to make sure that I'm totally done with the mortal
this
coil,
world.
basically.
Yeah, I'm done with this world. It's done with me. Once I've done this, ta-ta.
I'm free. It's almost like he's freeing himself. No, I like that, and I think that's a nice way to end it. It's like a nice little poignant moment. So thank you for giving us a little bit of class there, Graeme. After
fuck the Tories.
There he is. There he is.
That's it. Just for that, Trekking's cancelled. But yeah.
I don't know what I'm going to do. We've got the last episode coming up on Friday, and I'm just like, what are Fridays? What do Friday? You know?
How does this happen? But yes. So thank you, guys. So remember, for Friday, you've got Trekking Up North. What is it talking about this week, Graeme?
We're talking about an episode of Trek.
Which episode?
It's actually, it's actually quite wonderful. It's the Menagerie, which is an original series episode, which is absolutely amazing because we have the spin-off series Strange New Worlds that we obviously did a whole season on. And basically the main character of that is Christopher Pike, who was the original captain of the Enterprise before Captain Kirk.
I knew that. I knew that. That's one thing I knew.
And the sad thing about him is basically he is in an accident that basically paralyzes him and disfigures him so that he's literally just Davros, effectively. And what happens is the Menagerie is the episode where we get to see him after that has happened. So it's basically him coming in to help with an investigation into something that happened. And we get to go, whoa. So it's a kind of wake-up call after we've been dealing with Strange New Worlds. And then we're now going to review the Menagerie, where we basically just be like, oh, this is what happens to that favorite character, the Anson Mound's character. This is his reality in the Trek universe, and it's kind of depressing. But yeah, definitely, it's a great episode. You should definitely watch it on Netflix or wherever you watch stuff, and then join in on the discussion on Friday.
Yes. So, Sammy,
wherever you watch things, Goodwill,
Yes, you dirty little naughty Goodwill. But yes, and Sammy, what have you got coming up tomorrow? Because you take us into the festive period.
I am dragging Nerdy Up North into the festive period, if it likes it or not. We are rounding down monsters for the year, and we're starting with Krampus. I'm going to be honest, guys. We talk a bit about Krampus. We talk about a bit about everything else. This is a tangent-full episode. Dan is incredibly tired, so she is coming off the biggest weekend and the biggest holiday, but it is a fantastic episode. And
just to say a big congratulations to Dan. I know she's not watching, but she might watch back on your engagement. So very well done. So it was lovely seeing you on Sunday gone, and lovely seeing your ring on your finger.
Yes. On your finger. We do talk about the engagement.
And engagement is off.
Yes.
we talk about the engagement. We talk about our holiday. We talk about For the Love of Horror. We also throw in of The Office as well, because
there are monsters in the office now, is it?
But it fits in with Krampus because Todd Packer from The Office is in Krampus, and it all links. But I get too carried away as usual because I don't get to talk about The Office very often. So yes, it's a really fun episode, but we are starting to round down. We have one more episode after Krampus before we finish for the year.
Cool. Yes. And then the monsters will return the new year. So yes. And then we're back next week. What we're doing next week?
I don't know. You tell me. Please tell me. I don't know. I have no idea.
I've got to watch. I'll try. Yes. Oh, yes. It was. This is the change around we started. Because we are going to be doing mostly reviews on TVs and films, because that's what me and Sam are digging and really enjoying at the moment. And the episodes aren't 5 hours long. Hi, Sarah. But
Good God, Sarah.
but yes,
Look at the time.
so yes, we are starting going to be making a bit of a shift. So we were going to be doing the Rogues Gallery, but that's been changed to we're reviewing a very special Batman film.
That's right.
It is.
Right.
Is this special in air quotes?
Well, it's one of Jake's favourite movies.
Okay.
So it's Batman
No
Forever.
perfect,
It's Batman Forever.
Happy birthday, by the way.
It's the Clooney episode, Clooney one.
Oh, so thank you for clearing that up. I know which one I have to watch next weekend.
Yes.
The nipple one. The
nipples started before actually. Kilmer had nipples before.
Actually,
but before Clooney, everyone always seems to pick on Clooney for the nipples. And I'll say this: Clooney isn't the worst Batman.
To be fair, though, I do actually think that I like Batman this one better than the third one.
Yeah,
the third one where you just go like Jim Carrey, yeah, it's not good. I don't like it.
I am so looking forward to this episode. I love getting together with Jake talking about movies because it's so much fun.
I was going to say, are you just slagging off poor Sarah and Graeme now? Like poor them?
Absolutely not. No.
Fuck God, Drag.
But yes,
I can review Batman and Robin.
I was going to say I have thoroughly enjoyed tonight. It's been fun. I love the fact that I get to come, we sit and talk about. There's not one person tonight who's went, yeah, there's like this bit shit, that bit shit. We've all just fucking been on this like ride of how much we love this movie.
I don't even know I'm here, so it's all good. But yeah,
you are definitely here.
But yes, we've got a few good fun things coming up. I know, as I said, with the monsters, but we've got a Game of Thrones episode coming. Where Sam's got a few guests on. We've got a Princess Bride.
Want to see me get angry?
We've got a Princess Bride episode, and I think Kelly's returning for that. We're doing Return of the Nerds for the Lord of the Rings episode. We've got live action One Piece we're going to be reviewing, and of course, then we've always got the end of year review where we'll be talking about the highs and lows of this year because there's been a few. And then, but yes, and then we start in the new year. And Sarah, have you got anything you want to promote other than the soon-to-be evacuating of twins that will be popping out soon?
I've got nothing else planned.
I think she's got enough to contend with.
Well, I think looking at the schedule, the next time Sarah's going to be on, it's going to be a while, isn't it? Until January. So hopefully,
January.
Yes, that's when we're doing Dexter.
Yes.
But yes.
When's the next time I'm up here? I think I'm here in May. I
think because you're the busiest man in drag. I think I don't know. I think Blade Runner might be.
It's so depressing that literally because of Drag Idol, I kind of have to be like
it's a long time ago.
February and March I can't be on, and then in April.
Are going to join us for the end of year review though.
Yes.
I don't know if I am. When is it?
It's normally the day. It's either
we try and do it like around the 1st, if not like just before or just after.
Okay, well, we'll talk. But if I can make it, I can make it.
But yes, because I think the actual the Sunday is the 31st, so that's going to be a bit difficult. So that might be a pre-recorded episode. Just saying, might not be live. But remember, we still have a quest for you nerds. We are looking for Nick Cage DVDs for Slide and Sloop for a Throne of Cage. We want to make a full seat made out of Nicolas Cage. And if you haven't watched our Nicolas Cage episode from last week, it was funny as fuck. So go and watch it now, you twats.
The Throne of Cage.
But yes, like I say, during the week you'll be having Jake, Goodwill, and Lee at some point twitching, no doubt. I might even jump on Twitch because people seem to enjoy watching me freak out to Phasma.
That scream was so fucking funny. Wow, I loved it.
Yes.
Just so you all know, anyone who listens to us on audio, all episodes will be up on Tuesdays. Every episode from Trek, Monsters, this Sunday, and Jake's new show. Is it Ramble Chat? Am I getting that right? I'm so
Ramblecast.
Sorry. Ramblecast. I'm so sorry, Jake. Yes, we will all be up on Tuesdays.
Cool, very much. So yes, same bat time, same bat channel.
Stay nerdy, everyone. Bye.
Bye.